That makes me want a hot dog real bad. All right. This is J Robertson back with episode 13, Real Housewives of Beverly Hills recap with FabFitFun. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe to FabFitFun's YouTube channel for tons more content and weekly content with me recapping Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Let's get into it, shall we? Last night's It's a Look. Even though we had the Met Gala Monday, and you would think I'd be going for a more glam look for this week, I didn't have much to choose from because the ladies were mostly in leggings, puffer jackets, and tennis shoes. So this week's It's a Look is not a glam look, but it is a switch up look, and it's based mostly on hair. This week's It's a Look is Denise Richards with the double Viking French braid hair that she rocked the entire camping trip. I love a French braid. I love a double French braid. It was slim pickings this week, people, okay? So this week's It's a Look, congratulations to Denise Richards. This week's quote of the night. There was a lot to choose from, so I had to nail it down, and this week I based it on humor. And so this week's quote of the night is from Lisa Rinna. It's when they're discussing the happy ending massages towards the end of the episode. Lisa Rinna says to Denise Richards after Denise has let the ladies know that she has also partaken in happy endings massages. She says, "If that's what your freak flag wants to do, fly it, honey. Just don't get arrested." And I would just like to say that this not only holds true for a happy endings massage, but also just in life in general. Do what you gotta do. Just don't get caught. Don't get arrested. Let's get into Troy's titillating topics. Topic number 1. Rinna packing for a one-night, barely 24-hour trip. She decides to pack a hairdryer for a camping trip. Okay, let me tell you something. There have been times when I've gone on a trip and I've packed a hairdryer knowing I'm staying at a hotel, because if you're not flying and you're driving to stay in a hotel, I avoid using a hotel blow dryer by any means necessary. However, if I were camping, I would not be packing a blow dryer because the opportunity of electricity is going to be few and far between. And it doesn't even look like Lisa Rinna used the hairdryer that she packed, because she woke up the next day and looked like the friggin' heat miser because her hair was just, she must have slept like this. Because when she woke up, it looked just forward. It was just all forward. It was hilarious. Titillating topic number 2. The ladies get to the grocery store, and this is something that we have never seen the ladies do, and that is grocery shop all together for a big trip. Like, this is not something normally that they do because they're going to these exotic places where they're getting room service and having these fancy dinners. On Beverly Hills, at least. Now, other franchises, we've seen them go buck wild in a grocery store before. So they get to this grocery store, and they are literally me and all of my friends anytime we are out of town and shopping for a trip, or shopping for a road trip, or shopping for a weekend away or something. You literally go through the grocery store and you buy things you would never even think about buying if you were on a normal grocery trip on a Monday night. Like, we've got cheese balls, we've got donuts, we've got bagels. Like, you literally just go through and you think you need things that you don't actually need. This was so relatable. Let's just be real. Topic number 3. The ladies are rock climbing, and as Camille is putting on or taking off the rock climbing harness, she confesses and makes an exact comparison to what she's doing as something that she used to wear with her ex. I'm assuming Kelsey Grammer. So thanks for that little bit of bold gossip, Camille. She's very vocal this season. Let's get into the recap this week. So, the ladies go camping in an RV. Let's just say this. The RV is a tour bus, and the camping tents are nicer than my apartment. Listen, this is my idea of camping. If anybody knows me, knows that I'm not an outdoorsy person. I mean, I bet there was AC in those yurts, as Rinna put it. Like, there had to have been. Let's take it to a vote. I want to know, if any of you were stuck in the woods, which of the ladies would you want to be stuck with to help you get out? Would it be Kyle, Lisa Vanderpump, Dorit, Teddy, Camille, Lisa Rinna, Erica Jane, or Denise Richards? Let me know in the comments down below. The ladies then start playing beer pong. Erica Jane goes and gets a massage, and Dorit comes in playing beer pong. And let me just tell you something. Where did she go to undergrad? ASU in Tempe, Arizona? Like, this girl was just sinking them and draining them. This was very impressive. For somebody that has a pseudo-British accent, I was not expecting that strong of a skill set in beer pong. Kudos. The ladies are then walking into the woods. They're heading to go rock climbing, and Kyle Richards literally reminded me of Meredith in Parent Trap. And anyone who has seen this movie remembers Meredith, the new stepmom, the young stepmom to the ladies, and they're torturing her on this trip to the woods. And Kyle Richards was her with the sticks, with the tent to scare off the mountain lions. Kyle walking through the woods, manic. Kyle, I love you. You're the exact same person as I am. We are not made for the outdoors. We're nervous of ticks. We're suspect of bears. I'm with you on this one. I would just like to say, if we're going to elect anyone to be the grill master, I was not expecting Denise, the previous 10-year vegan, to do it, or Kyle Richards, the one who's probably nervous around fire, just like I would be, or Camille, just because. I don't know. There's just something about her. I wouldn't have elected her to be in charge of the meat. I want to ask all of you, who do you think would have been the best grill master? Who would you have wanted to have taken over all the meats? Who wouldn't have messed it up? Who would have cooked everything perfectly? And as someone who has been in a grill fire on July 4th, 2018, I take grilling very, very seriously. You've got to slick it down. You've got to clean the meat off. And this was just turning into a disaster. So I'm glad that Dorit and Teddy headed over to help remedy the situation. Tensions are starting to get a little high as they discuss Camille's wedding, and Teddy is being very opinionated on how she feels that Camille should deal with Lisa Vanderpump for her wedding. I would like to say this. I don't think that Teddy's opinion or advice to Camille is wrong. I just really think that Camille's got a hard on for Teddy. I think if that advice came from anyone else, Camille would have appreciated it and she would have taken it, and it wouldn't have been this issue with her. But since it came from Teddy, she feels like Teddy's a know-it-all. She oversteps, she insinuates a lot. I thought the advice was good. I thought she was like, listen, if this is important for you and you want Lisa to be there, then don't text her, call her. Instead, Camille thinks that it's her being a know-it-all. And as we see from the preview from next week, Camille literally takes it to the next step and has a sit-down with her about the wedding. So apparently she wasn't completely off base in her advice, Camille. We then get into the PK comments from a couple of weeks ago. We find out at the beginning of the episode that he sends this nice, lovely apology to Kyle Richards. Everything is good, yet it's still brought up. Go figure, we've all been watching these shows. We all know the drill here. And so Dorit comes up and she's like, what's not malicious? And it's then found out that Teddy feels like this was like a setup, feels like it was done on purpose. She feels like PK said this to make himself and Dorit look better. The backtrack didn't work out well. It was very, very intentional. From there, we've got Camille just, I don't know, she hit her breaking point and she just really kind of sort of lays into Teddy and says that she's a know-it-all, claims that she's very insightful for her age, but, you know, she insinuates a lot. It is then found out that Teddy claimed that there was this conspiracy theory about the setup, about PK saying that at the Boy George concert. And I just want to say, I don't think it's completely off base. I think that Teddy's going through what I call the second season woes, and that is when you get to your second season of filming, you start to get a little bit more opinionated, and you get more opinionated on things that involve you, that pseudo-involve you, and that don't involve you, because you're trying to establish this rapport with the viewers, with your fans. You're finally comfortable in front of the camera, so you're not feeling like you have to take a back seat so much. You're realizing you're part of an ensemble cast. And so that's where I think that this is getting Teddy into some trouble this season. It's all about the fact that they're just filming a show. This happened to Cynthia, her second season on Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's happened to a lot of the ladies on their second season. They just start to get a little bit more bold in front of the camera. I also think that, and I want to hear your guys' opinion about this as well, I think that Teddy does have this way of her opinions sounding like theory or conspiracy theories or this big grandiose plans, when really it's just her vocalizing what she thinks happened. So I want you to tell me what you think. Do you think that when she explains a story that it is very just like her opinion? Or do you feel like she has these like conspiracy theories about what is actually going on in someone's brain or behind the scenes or something like that whenever there's issues or turmoil? Let me know down below. I love the way that the episode ended as well, because the ladies were kind of talking about self-image and how difficult it is now. And, you know, they're saying like, I couldn't imagine growing up now because we only had a mirror back in the day to fight with. Now, the ladies and the youth and these kids, they have social media to answer to, and it just makes things a lot more difficult. And I loved Erica Jane's quote at the end of the episode when she said, I look at myself as an art project and I'll create whatever I want till I want to stop. And I think that that's a really great piece of advice. Like, you can do with yourself what you want to do. She's 47 years old. She's going out, she's performing as a pop star. There's no expiration date on what you want to be and what you want to do. And I thought that that was a really great piece of advice for anyone that deals with self-image, self-love issues, as well as if you're struggling like with your goals, aspirations, and what you're doing with your job. I thought that that was a really great way to kind of look at yourself as this art project. Kudos to Erica Jane. I think that that was a great piece of advice. All right, let's get to this week's Rose and Thorn. The Rose is the charcuterie tray that Teddy had prepared for the beginning of the road trip in the RV. I love a charcuterie tray, and this was the most beautiful, well-presented charcuterie tray that I have ever seen. And listen, I have friends from Louisiana, and nobody does a charcuterie tray like some people down in the bayou. But this one would give that a run for their money. My thorn is, out of the $700 that they spent at that grocery store, I don't think all of that food was eaten. I bet a third of that food was only eaten. And listen, my motto in life is waste not, want not, and I just couldn't even bear ending that episode knowing that there was probably so much food wasted. That's it for this week's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will see all of you back next week with me, Troy J Robertson, recapping Real Housewives of Beverly Hills with FabFitFun. Thank you so much. Have a great week. Have a great night. Over and out. Stay tuned.